in time, we're going to move to the last segment, which is pathways forward. So, and this is open to everyone. So, what part of our culture, ladies, do y'all think we should never lose? What part of it should we never lose? What cultural habits should we think about changing so we can live better in the United States? Anyone can go first. Josie, you want to go first? Let me just call names.
I was asking, you sure you don't want to call names?
Yeah, go
Um,
ahead.
um, an aspect of our culture that we should not lose is well, which one is more important? In marriage, in the community, so you have to narrow it down.
Yeah, well, since we're on marriage and relationships, that's what this is talking about.
Okay. So the aspects of our culture that we should not lose in marriage is knowing that your husband is the head. We've talked a lot today about different aspects that impact marriages negatively and cause pressure. Knowing that your husband is the head, the example that I gave earlier for someone who makes more money. If you're a woman or an African or immigrant woman making more money than your husband, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are over your husband, because the husbandship is not, and most of us are Christians, so I'm going to use the Bible here. The husbandship is a responsibility to lead the family. The responsibility is not for financial provision. Because if that were the case, then when a man loses his job, then the family has no bearing, right? Because there are cases where a man is well-to-do and makes 100 times more than the wife, but something happens. What if they get sick? What if, their business collapses? So the focus of the focus in a marriage should always be that the husband is the leader, the husband is the head, and the woman is the neck. Believe me, the neck carries the head, and the head turns where the neck turns, right? There's no way the head goes without the neck moving it. So understanding that aspect of our culture and giving respect where respect is due, communicating expectations will help us keep that aspect of our culture and help our marriages succeed. Another aspects can be like just the same example of the woman making more money. If you're making more money now, doesn't mean you're going to make more money forever. What if God brought you into this marriage to be the financial provider, right? And if you and your spouse already have a plan, you communicate how your family finances should work from which bucket, it doesn't really matter whose paycheck got into the bucket. So it boils down to planning, to communicating and having certain expectations and saying we're going to give 10% to tithe, 10% to family back home. We're not going to spend more than 55% in bills and this, and limit your lifestyle to live within your means. If all those things are in place and you make way more than your husband makes 10 times more, it's not going to matter. So showing that respect, and husbands, love your wife. Your wife not supposed to love you, but let's just leave it at that. Bible says,
Thank you. I mean,
Yeah,
you
that's a
cannot
really
have
good one.
you cannot have two captains in a ship, right? So someone has to be the head of the household, but that does not mean that they should stand on the other person. That means that
Right.
yes, you're just leading. You're leading, and
right.
Mhm.
And a leader, let me add, like a leader, the first thing that is called, because like as Joseph say, a lot of us here are Christians, right? Like a leader, the first thing is a servant. As it said, like you be the head and you love your wife as Christ loved the church. And what did Christ do? He died for the church. So
Exactly.
like like as that's a very important aspect of our culture, that leadership role, like submitting, as the Bible calls us women to submit to our spouses, our husbands in all things. So one of the things is like, even as women, once you are looking at this person and saying that I want to get married to them, it's not for the wedding day. So you're looking, can I submit to this person in all things, in every single thing? So you're looking at their character, you're looking at their mind, you're looking at their emotional intelligence in all things. I need to submit to them. So once you're saying yes, it's like even on your bad day, your good day, I'm submitting to you and I'm letting you take the lead in everything. So if you don't trust their judgment, if you don't trust their financial planning, if you don't trust their emotional intelligence, and then why are you saying yes?
Mm-hmm.
Because you will
Because they
need,
look cute,
yeah,
tall,
no. So
handsome.
if they look cute, my dear, you will submit in everything, oh, not just the cuteness, because they are the head and they are the head. And as like it's a very, very important part of our culture, which
Mm-hmm.
is backed by scripture. They are the lead, they have to take that leadership role. But in another aspect too, for our men, leaders serve. It's
Mm-hmm.
the same
Lead,
as even
right.
we
Lead
as
and serve.
parents.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Leaders serve. Leaders
Yes.
serve. You
And
are
lead by
trying,
example.
they lead by example, they serve, and you try because it's almost like as parents, right? What's like you are the head? Let me say, for example, as a mom and a dad, but your first priority is to raise your kids, to nurture them, for that the best part of them to come out. You're looking at them, you want the best thing ever to happen to them. So as a head, that's like your wife is one of the people under you. So it's like, how can I bring out the best in her? How can I nurture her? How can I make her shine? Because like the people that you are leading is a reflection of the kind of leadership that you have.
Right.
It's
Whatever
true.
they turn out to be, whoever they become, wherever they go to
Reflects on you.
society, it reflects on you as a leader.
It's
So,
true.
and in addition to that, like one of the things that I would say that is like one of the things again that we should never lose is like our hospitality. We have like a lot of good values when it comes to hospitality, when it comes to kindness, when it comes to our Christianity above all things. Because a marriage that is solid and is the foundation is Christ, and I'm not talking about you have gone and got married in church. That is not making Christ the foundation of your marriage. Like
Yeah.
good, solid spiritual mentorship and like that mentorship, right? Once your foundation in Christ, there is always somebody that is bigger than both of you that can always hold that person accountable. And we have that culture too, that accountability culture, somebody that can speak to this person. But the thing is, in order to switch it so it actually helps, we need to come as a couple and find somebody that we are accountable to, people that we trust their leadership, we trust their mentorship, that if this person can sit us down and call us to action and advise us, we can listen to them. That's one aspect of our culture that we should not lose, but it has to be the right people, not your
Mm-hmm.
mother, your father. No, if like the right people that are neutral, that can have a rational relationship and like give us like profitable advice when it comes to a situation. And
Mm-hmm.
another
Absolutely.
thing too that we should grab is seeking help. Counseling
Counseling. Yeah.
is not for mad people.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
Yeah.
need it when you are married 5 years and everything is shakara. I will advise
Premarital. It's
help
premarital counseling.
individual first.
Yes. Mhm.
As an individual, once you get to an age, a lot of us here, by the grace of God, we are financially viable. Get your individual counseling before you even start looking to add somebody in that pot.
Yeah.
Start seeking individual. It doesn't have to be because you have a mental health. It doesn't have to be because you have anxiety or depression. for personal growth and development. Read books, seek to grow, do your counseling. By the time you start seeing somebody that, oh, I may think, once you guys get in that relationship, don't go as a fiance because you have already tied the knots and you're already like, oh, I've suffered too much. Once you start thinking, if the person is progressive enough and ready to go that route, let us start seeking relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, counseling. Let's start seeking it and hear what they're saying. Listen to them. Is this somebody that I even want to go the fiance route with? Because once you start making those solid plans and then you have a one-way route of a mind, it's hard for anybody to tell you anything because you're already in love. Like I'm already told people, how will I break it up? How will I?
Yeah, that's
Before
so
you,
true. That's true
yeah,
because
Absolutely.
if you can't figure out yourself, you cannot figure somebody else out. You need to know
Yeah.
who you are to be able to
yes,
know somebody else. You need
somebody
to
else.
love yourself to the fullest capacity before you can love someone else.
And heal,
Yes. So that's
heal,
the thing.
heal.
Yeah,
Yes,
and heal too, because a lot of times, like a lot of people have this low self-esteem. They don't love
yes.
themselves. They don't care for
Mhm.
themselves. So
Yep.
that's why when you do the premarital counseling, you do
Mhm.
individual therapy and you even start looking at what are the faults that you have? What are some
Yes.
behaviors that you need to change before
Mhm.
you even move into a marriage?
Yes.
Because when you go into that marriage, this is a whole human being. You are a whole human
Mhm.
being. You've been brought
Yes.
up in your own ways. He's been brought up in his own ways. When you guys come
Mhm.
together, there's bound to be conflict.
Yes.
So
Yes.
those conflicts is how are you going to solve those
Solve them.
conflicts when they do arise? Because like
Yes.
it or not, they're going to be there.
They are going to be there. Yeah.
Yes. So when they
So,
are there, you both need to have these techniques that you can say, hey,
mhm.
you know what, let's compromise on this. You don't always
Mhm.
have to agree. You can agree to disagree, you
Yes.
know, and but then the important thing is that you come to a concession that
Mhm.
is best for both of you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Did
Like,
you have anything to add, Diana?
Yes, yes, a thousand exclamation points to both Josie and Prisca. Very good points. I couldn't agree anymore. I would just add that we spoke a little bit about external family and some of the disadvantages that comes with that. But I also think that we should never lose that because there's also a lot of benefits that come with that. You know, when you marry your husband, you marry the family. So if your husband has a good family that values your marriage, you definitely want to make sure you keep those ties because I know in Africa, the African marriage, you know, you marry your husband, you marry the whole family. So we want to keep that part of our culture because there are certain times when you may be slacking up or your husband may be slacking up, and then your family is the one who's like, no, you got to stop this. You know, they're the ones who are rooting for the marriage. They're the ones who are like, no, we don't accept this. This is not a good thing. And so I think that over here, things are a little bit different. It's just the husband, the wife, the kids. That's it, right? But as Africans, we know that is deeper than that. You married the family. Make sure you keep that relationship healthy. Make sure you check up or involve your family, your external family members, your in-laws, because those are the ones that, for the most part, will root for you when the marriage starts being a little bit rocky. They'll be like, let's come together, let's work this out. Versus, well, you know what, that woman never cared about us anyway. Leave her. So I think looking at that point of view, we should never also lose the love and the respect and the togetherness of your in-laws.
Yeah. And also, even if they are not good, right? I think that's where we come in to say we can start educating because some people may not just know. It's just the way they've been brought up and they have their own ways of thinking. So we need to start educating to say, hey, this is not how it's done. Like if you continue putting your mouth in this pot of soup, this soup is going to spill, oh, mommy. So you need to watch it. I'm telling you this before it gets to a point where it gets to, and then we start saying that it's the woman's fault or this and that. With those learned behaviors that they had in the past, They have to understand that it does not work in our society. And yet, none of us want to break our homes. We want to keep our homes together. So we're just hoping that we have family that can support us in this process. Well, this conversation, ladies, thank you all so much. It has been very enlightening, and I hope that encourages more African immigrant couples to seek support and open up about their relationship challenges. You know, mental health, communication, and all this cultural adaptation, they all play a crucial role in our relationships. And we need to create spaces where these discussions can happen without stigma. Because in our society, mental health is very much stigmatized. You know, when you want to talk about mental health, you just think that it's because it's someone that's crazy. No, mental health is for everyone. So let's seek help. Let's not stay in our corners. People drop dead every day. And I say this every time. I say this every time because if your mental health is not in a good space, your physical health will not be. It will not be. You start seeing those symptoms. You start feeling tired. You don't want to go out. You just want to be in your bed. So those are typical signs of depression. So I'm just hoping that people get to open up. The more we speak, the more we empower, and the more we're able to change things too. We're not bashing anyone. We don't want anybody to listen to this to say, oh, they only talk about it. No, no, no. This is just something to enlighten. So if there are any issues or if you have any thing that you feel like you can share that's going to help, we do encourage people to, chime in and let us know exactly what your thoughts are on how we can make this podcast better. Because this is a journey. We're on this journey. We're going to make sure that African marriages still people are still staying together in these African marriages because the statistics is just skyrocketing. So I want
And
to
I
thank all of you
what the
all.
numbers are. I haven't looked it up, but what's the rate of divorce in
I
the
try to look, it's hard to get those statistics. There's not a lot of research. And that's why we say, I think a lot of research is more with Nigerians. You know, Nigerians, they speak up. I've seen a lot, but
and that's what I
stat.
was saying earlier, right?
Mhm,
Because the numbers are not, so the awareness is there. And
mhm.
it could just be because of social media, not that it's more rampant than it was
Yeah,
20 years ago. Could
yeah.
just be that we have become more aware. I'll give you an example of death and dying. Oh, oops. Unliving. I So statistically, there are less and less people who are passing away than the previous decades. But because whenever you turn on the news and, as we are aging, we're not aging, getting older, we're getting news of family members who have passed away and so on and so forth. It makes it seem like a lot of people are passing away, but statistically, less people are passing away today than they did 10 years ago.
Mhm. Yeah, and
They're just more aware. So
yeah,
that's why I asked the question earlier, when these statistics are being, where are they getting their data from?
yeah,
Because it could just
and
be we are more aware and we
well,
can see the struggles more so than they used to be because we are living in a different space and a different time. But there's no one correct answer. We are brainstorming to figure out, we're
yeah.
going to get to the bottom of it.
We will, and I'm actually completing my DMP program with this. I don't know if you
Okay.
guys even. I think I did say this is a research for me. There's not a lot of research out there, so we will be the ones to put that data out there, and this is by talking to people, getting the information, getting whatever we can online. Because again, as we said, mental health is very stigmatized in our community. Most people are hush hush. People don't want to say. You even see people who are living together. They probably the ones they call the married singles because the it's like you don't want to get a divorce. You don't want people to start talking about you. So they don't really say it. They don't say it. When it comes to Americans, they don't care. They put their stuff out there. But since we are so hush hush, it's gonna take a little bit of digging before you can really even get true data. But I want to thank all of you guys so much for this wisdom and for sharing your insights today. And to everyone listening, remember that you are not alone in your journey. Seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. So thank you all for being a part of this discussion, and we look forward to continuing this important discussion. We have so much to bring, and we hope that you will subscribe, like, and share this message because it will help somebody. And we will see you all until next time.